Hello everybody. So now I'm going to run through a little opening sequence similar to the ones that we do in the classes. So what I want you to do is to come and stand with your feet hip width apart, and remember that we're placing the weight down into the heels. Spread the toes, feeling the equal weight between the big toe, the little toe and the heel, so you have that lovely tripod. And I want you to bend into the ankles, so you're sinking down through the ankles, and that allows your knees to soften, and it allows your hips to begin to drop, to lengthen and drop all the way through that sacral area, so you have a lovely relaxed and comfortable position. It's going to work through first of all the 5-element warm-up. We have done this in class before, so we have 5 different elements to run through. So the first is going to be the earth. So remembering we're bringing the basket up, so if you bring it up to around where your shoulders are, you're holding the basket. And as you turn, if you're turning to the left, you're going to turn your right fingertips pointing into your left palm. Okay, so the palm of the right hand is facing down to the floor, the left hand palm is facing towards the fingertips, and you turn to the left. And then as you come back into the center, breathing in, you turn your hands, and now your left fingertips are pointing into the center of your right, and you turn to the right. So each time you're moving your hands and turning them, so the right fingertips are pointing towards your left palm as you turn to the left. Your left fingertips are pointing towards your right palm as you turn to the right. You're keeping an openness in the whole of the stance, as if you're holding a very big basket full of seeds to throw upon the earth. And you're turning from the waist, so everything below the waist is staying very calm and very centered and very peaceful. So when I'm talking about this whole area, it's literally turning from this area in the waist. You're leaving everything below here around in this area facing forward. The only thing that's moving is your waist from side to side, and that goes for all of these exercises. So that was the earth. So we're going to go into the liver. So if you remember, we brought our hands up front and back, so about shoulder height, and without turning to the back, you bend this back hand, it reaches just about to your shoulder, then you turn the front palm off, and then you're pushing a ball off, and then you're bringing the left hand to the back, and again drawing the elbow in, pushing past the shoulder, and turning the front palm, pushing the ball off. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this a bit more easily from the side. So if I'm working to the right with the right arm is back, the left arm is front. Both hands are palm facing down right at this moment. Now what you do is you turn this palm of the right hand, pushing towards the front, coming towards the shoulder, then turn the palm of the left hand up. Imagine that you're pushing a ball off, bringing this left arm up behind you and working in the same way. Turning the palm of the left hand up, bending through the elbow, push it past your shoulder, turning the hand of the right up and pushing the ball off. Moving between both sides, pushing the ball off and then pushing the ball off. So one more time, keeping the head forward, keeping a lovely fluidity and flexibility in the spine, and making sure once again that you're keeping your hips firmly faced forward. So that's going to be the last time, and then we bring the hands down. I'll turn back to the front now. So if you remember, the next one was about the metals, the lungs and large intestine. This works with both of these areas. This is the axe. We were holding the axe. So you imagine you have an axe, you're holding it, so you bring the arms down as if you're swinging the axe behind you, and then you're drawing the axe down in front of you. And then as if you're bringing the axe over to the left hand side, swinging it all the way back and over to the front. And once again, in breath as you draw it back, out breath as you allow the axe to come down at the front. So soft, even movements, working with the scapula and the shoulders on both sides. So once again, I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing here. So there's a softness and a dropping in through the hips. Drawing the arms over to the right, lifting all the way up and sinking them down. Bringing the arms as if you're lifting the axe over to the left and drawing them back and down to the front. And then coming to the right, and down to the front, and then once again through to the left. So with this one you should really be feeling it up into the scapula, up into the shoulder, and again keeping these hips stabilized and moving forward. So now we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be the fire element. So if you remember, we brought our hands up to the front, we turned our hands. So imagine the fingertips pointing up towards the left, because I'm going to move towards the right. So fingertips pointing to the left, you're sweeping your hands across the front, and now when you get to this area here, with the hands to the side, you're pushing away with the lower arm, such the lower left arm pulling back with the right, and then you sweep the hands. And this time as you sweep to the front, you've got the palms facing forward, fingertips are pointing to the right. So you sweep the hands now to this side. So this is the position that you need to be in. You've got the left arm is upper, the right arm, which moves across your body, is lower. Here you push the right arm away and you pull the left arm back, and then you sweep across the fire at the front, and again you come up to the other side, you pushing the lower arm back, the upper arm back, and pulling the lower arm forward, and then you're sweeping to the front, coming up to the side, and then the same thing, pushing the lower arm forward, pulling the upper arm back. Okay, that's great. So bringing the hands onto the, just resting them onto the waist. If you remember, this is pulling the fish out of the pond. So you sink your arm all the way down. This is the water. Turn the arm, pluck the fish, and bring it back up to your waist. And once again, down and lifting, down and lifting, down. Really turning that arm all the way around and lifting, and down and lifting. So don't worry too much about how your breath has been through these, but generally speaking, you take an in breath to move one way and an out breath to move another. If there's any folding forward, of course there's an out breath on the fold forward and in breath on the as you're coming up. So let's now work with variation on the Tadasana. I want you to keep your feet in that lovely hip width position. I actually want you to interlace your hands and place them behind your neck. So this works very nicely with that lung, and I want you to then tuck your elbows in towards your head. So I'm going to turn to the side because it's easier for me to show you. So now what I want you to do is take a nice deep breath in as you arch your back and look up towards the ceiling, holding the back of your head. And the out breath, you're folding down, bend through the knees as you go a little, and then an in breath, opening everything up really wide, slightly opening the elbows at this point, and then out breath, folding the elbows back in, and then an in breath, lifting and opening the elbows out and arching through the back, and an out breath, folding down. So keep going for another couple of moves here, being really aware to keep a lovely softness in that low back, a softness in the knees as you bend forward, and then when you come up, bringing the arms all the way down. Okay, so we worked with the surfer squat that I've been talking to you about, so let's work with that flow. Bring your feet together. And now what I'd like you to do is to lift your right foot and step the right foot behind the left, so they're in line with each other. And there should be about a foot in between the front and the back foot, firmly planting the feet on the floor. Now at this point you're lifting your arms up to shoulder height. And then all I want you to do is sink the weight down into the back foot, moving down as far as feels comfortable, drawing your arms in, whatever position you end up in, bringing the arms and the hands into prayer position. Reversing, bringing the arms all the way up and over and out to the sides again. So if you're not going very far down, then you just take yourself to a point that feels comfortable for you, drawing those arms in, allowing the arms to help you move in both directions. So an in breath as you're drawing the arms up to meet above the head, and an out breath as you're sinking down as far as feels comfortable for you. And you can vary how far you go down. You can take it very lightly and very gently. Allow your hips to do what they need to do in this position. If you notice with mine, they're moving backwards and slightly out to the side. That's the right hip, because we're working more with the right hip. And now we're going to change sides, so bringing the arms down and stepping up to the front of the mat once again. And let's just walk the hips. So you're just allowing the hips to release off, bringing this left leg behind. Remember to keep it in line and about a foot away from the front foot. Bringing the arms up once again to shoulder height. In breath, lifting the arms and sinking down. Keep the weight into the back foot. Only go as far as feels comfortable to you. So if you feel like you can only go just about down here, that's fine. Just bring your arms and your hands into prayer position. Then take a breath in and lift yourself back up, bringing the arms out to the side. In breath and the out breath, varying the amount. Remember, this is the left hip that you're working with, and the idea is to keep the flats of the feet on the floor at all times with this exercise. So keep it very gentle to start off with. Just allow that left hip to really work and to really open, and to allow you to work with a bit more flexibility into the hip. Let this be the last one, bringing the hands together, lowering down, taking a nice deep breath in, lifting up and stepping to the front of the mat. And once again, working the legs side to side, so bending each leg side to side, and so you're getting a lovely stretch on the sides of the body. So just to emphasize this stretch, I want you to bring the arms up, and then I want you to tilt down to the left hand side, in breath up, and an out breath down to the right hand side. So you're feeling that lovely stretch down the sides of the body. You have the feet together in this position, down to the right side of the body, and one more time, down to the left side. Coming up into the center, deep breath in, stretching up onto your toes. See if you can come up onto the toes, and then lowering yourself all the way back down. That's great. So now let's work with a forward bend, working with a little bit of a pumping breath opening. So to get into this lovely position, I want you to take your arms, opening them all the way out and up above your head, palms facing forward, bend through the knees, folding, folding, folding forward. Now bring your attention into your right shoulder. Allow the right shoulder to lead you back up to standing, and when you get to a certain point, you can open that arm out, look to the back palm, both palms facing up, and an out breath, draw that right arm over, folding all the way down to the floor again. And now bring your attention to your left shoulder, lifting the left shoulder, lifting your body, and at a certain point you can bring the left arm out to the back and draw the right arm up, palms facing the front, and then the out breath sinking down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up to standing, and I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this from another position. So feet in Tadasana, nice deep breath in as you're lifting the arms up, palms to face forward, out breath sinking down to the ground, and then bringing the weight or tension into your right shoulder. So allow the right shoulder to lift and lift and lift higher, and you're opening out that arm, gazing to the back arm, palms to face upwards, on an out breath, turning, coming all the way back down. So now you have your focus into your left shoulder, so allowing that left shoulder to lift, lift, lift as you come up, and at a certain point it's moving towards the back, and you're turning to look at the left palm, and then an out breath, rolling yourself over, coming all the way back down. So the flow works between both sides. You take it with a breath cycle, doing a couple more, very slowly, lifting, 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 and opening the arms, and then folding back over. So at this point, what I'd like to do is to just give you a little bit of information about the low back, because a lot of these positions, there can be a tendency to move the hips and the upper body in ways that could be a little bit sensitive to this low back area. So when we're working with this particular movement, I want you to just keep this area really, really balanced. So when you're drawing that right arm up and you're feeling the stretch is coming down the side of the body from the hip, but no further down into the hip. The hips are square to the floor, the legs are very level and in front, everything's facing this way with this part of the body. The movement is coming once again from your torso. So you're lifting up with that right arm, and there we are. So the turn, as you can see here, is my upper body. My hips are facing forward in this direction. So there's no compromising of the hips and turning and twisting of the knee. Everything below here is facing this way, and you're just moving through the torso and through the waist, through the shoulder and the upper back. Okay, that's great. So if you give yourself just a moment to come out of that, I want you to bring your hands into prayer position. Take a nice deep breath in as you come up onto your toes. Breath in through the nose and out breath through the mouth, as we've done before. And then slowly lowering down. And again, breath in, lifting, 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 coming up onto those toes. This time, if you're able to, bring your hands above your head. And then lowering all the way back down. And again, breath in, lifting up onto the toes, lifting up the arms. Holding for as long as feels good for you. If you come down, you can choose to come back up again or just to stand in Tadasana. With your hands lightly rested in Namaste in front of your heart center, and then lowering yourself down if you can. Bending through the knees, staying on the tips of the toes, bringing yourself all the way down, bring your elbows onto the inside of the knees, and drawing the hands down will help to open through the hips a little. That's great. And then bring the hands back up and see if you can stand back up again, and bringing the arms out to the side. So let's see if we can do that squat. So flats of the feet on the floor, and we've done this before, just a little bit of a play around. So see if you can come down to a squat, keeping the flats of the feet on the floor. So just allow your body to come down as far as feels comfortable, and try to keep the flats of the feet on the floor. If you can go all the way down, fantastic, and then coming all the way back up. So let's bring a breath into that. Breath in and out breath, coming all the way down. In breath and out breath. In breath and out breath. In breath and out breath. That's great. So the flats of the feet are on the floor at all times during that exercise. Great. So let's work with the Yoga Nidra. So bringing the arms behind, interlacing them, crossing with the thumb, pointing with the forefinger, resting them gently on the back of that sacral area. And you're going to open out the chest, take a nice deep breath in and folding. So similar to the exercise we were doing before, I'm doing a lot of work opening through the upper part of the thoracic, the upper part of the chest, to make sure that you're getting a lot of oxygen into this area. Now keeping the breath nice and easy, so just in breath through the nose, out breath through the mouth at this point. So now I want you to take a nice deep in breath. Second part of this exercise, bend through the knees, folding forward. If you can comfortably get your torso onto the top of the knees, great. If not, just hang your torso wherever it feels comfortable. And then look through your legs and lifting up through your arms. So you keep the hands interlaced, keep pointing with the forefinger, crossing with the thumbs. Keep breathing, feeling those scapula, those shoulder blades pulling in towards the spine. Keep a solid bend in the knees. And again, if you can, take your torso down to the top of your legs. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you don't want to do that, just leave it just above, hovering. Now I want you to take the hands down to the low back. I want you to allow them to just flop down to the floor. I want you to just hang here for a bit. Just shaking. You can choose to fold your arms if you want to. Just straightening through the legs just a little, feeling the
lengthening through the spine, the lengthening up through the back of the legs, all the way down through the feet, all the way down through the head, neck. Then let the hands go and roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra. Really slowly coming back up to standing. Great. Okay, so let's just take a moment finding some breath. So bring your hand onto your low belly, bring your hand onto your chest, a little bit of a rub into those areas. Holding the top and the bottom, and I just want you to feel where your breath is, feel where your heart is. These exercises have probably brought up quite a lot of heat in the body. I want you to bring the feet slightly further apart again so they're underneath the hips. Soften through the ankle, bend through the knee, tilt through the hip. And now I want you to concentrate on the breath. Work ourselves into the hara breath. So I want you to open the mouth really wide. That works with this lovely transmandibular joint which chomps down the jaws together. So opening the jaw really wide and keep a gap between the upper and the lower teeth. Then place the tip of your tongue on the top palate, somewhere behind that top palate. Allow that tip of the tongue to rest gently. In and out breath through the nose. Next breath in, I want you to balloon your belly, push the belly against your hands, and the out breath, relax the belly back towards your spine. In breath, push the belly against your hands, and the out breath, relaxing the belly back towards the spine. So keeping that going. 10 breaths just working with this low area. Every in breath you're ballooning the belly out, and every out breath you're drawing the belly back towards the spine. So remember, it's a soft open jaw, tongue on the top palate, breath in and out through the... And now on the next breath in, I want you in the belly, and then allow the breath to come up into the chest. So you're pushing the hand that's on your chest a little, and then you relax the chest and relax the belly back to the spine. So push in through the belly on the in breath, and then bring the chest out a little, and then relaxing down. And again, 10 breaths here. So you first of all activate the belly on the in breath, then you activate the chest all the way up through into the shoulders, and then you relax through the chest, release the breath, and release the breath from the belly. That's great. Now just take a deep breath in, bring your hands down. Hold the breath for a couple of seconds before you breathe out. Breathe out through the mouth. Hold the breath a couple of seconds before you breathe in. Breathe in through the nose. Hold the breath and breathe out. Hold the breath and breathe in. Keep doing this with this lovely kumbhaka, what's called a kumbhaka pause, so a pause in between the in breath and the out breath. Breath in through the nose, breath out through the mouth. Okay, now what I'd like you to do is to bring yourselves to the back of your mat,
We'll do a couple more exercises in this particular sequence that we're doing. So this one is called wingspan. So if you take your thumb and first finger and place them together. So the idea being, I'll show you from a different position, but the idea being is that you step, just a very gentle and easy step. So you're working with the right foot to step. So the left foot is solid into the ground and stays exactly in the same position. You jump forward, probably about a foot, and then you're stepping back. And stepping forward again and stepping back. So you can see a softness in my knee. The back of my knee is bending, the front of my knee is bending, my hips are slightly sinking down as I do so. So the other part of this, make sure that you keep your feet hip width apart when you step. So you're not stepping this right foot in front of the left. So keep it out at hip width apart and then stepping back. So the second part of this, you have 5 positions. So you move your arms up. You show you from the front with this. So as you're stepping, you move your arms up into this position as the first step. The second step is moving the arms to the side. The third step is moving out to the shoulders. The fourth step is moving them slightly below the shoulders. And then the fifth step, you're moving the arms back behind you. So each time you're really your chest out to the front. So let's do this from this position because it seems too easy, and I'll show you from the other position. See what it looks like from both angles. So breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, remembering that you're holding the first finger and thumb together with this. Taking a nice deep breath in, sinking down the weight into the left leg. This is the anchor leg. So taking a step forward with the right, lift, and the out breath, sinking back. In breath, opening the arms out to the side and sinking back. In breath, arms out to the shoulders and sinking back. In breath, bringing the arms out below the shoulders and sinking back. And then arms are coming right beside the body, back and then coming back. And then moving on to the other side. So anchoring down through the right leg, take a breath in and then coming back. Take a breath in. So remember to keep a nice softness in the knees as you move forward. So the softer your knees are, the more gentle the bend, the easier it will be. So this is the last time, coming in and bringing the arms back. I'll turn to the side and I'll show what it looks like from the side. I'm going to anchor down through, I'm going to do a couple on each side. So anchor down through the left, stepping, arms up and then coming back. Stepping, arms out to the side and then coming back, and then bringing the arms out once again to the shoulders and then coming back. And the same on the other side. So you step, arms are out above and then come back. In breath, stepping, arms are out just above the shoulders and then stepping, and the arms are out at the shoulders and then they're coming back. Okay, this is very much a lung meridian exercise. Really works. You feel a lot of heart coming up with that one, and really need to take deep breaths after you've done it. So let's just have a moment. Standing in Tadasana, so opening out through the feet, spreading the toes, finding that lovely anchoring point, sinking down with the hands, lifting up through the chest, tucking the chin, feeling that strength through the body. Remember that everything below the waist is anchoring down to the floor, anchoring down to the earth. Above the waist is lifting to the heavens. The beauty of Tadasana, the mountain pose. Easy breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Lovely. Okay, so let's work a little bit with a balance. So coming onto your left foot, I'd like you to choose your position for the tree pose. Trees, the lungs of this earth, so you can either choose to have your foot down by the other foot if you don't want to come up into the balance, it doesn't feel good for you today, or you can bring your foot up to your knee if that feels meant to be. Or if you want to come into the full pose, take hold of your ankle and placing your foot onto your upper thigh. If you're in this position, you might find it easier to bring your heel forwards whilst allowing your toes to wrap around the side of your leg to the back. So there's a slight angle on the foot, pushing the sole of the foot into the leg. So just let me repeat that. So this heel, my heel is slightly further forward than my toes are. My toes are slightly tilted towards the back, so there's a slight angle on my foot as I'm pushing it into the adductor, so the inner thigh. Bring your hands up into prayer position, lengthening up through the back, strength down through the left leg. Find your tripod between the big toe, little toe, and through the heel. And then lifting the arms up and over the head if that feels comfortable for you. Always is good in these balance poses to spot an area on the floor, the ceiling in front of you, what's called drishti gaze. Just having that lovely focus in that point in front of you. Keep breathing. Whichever position you're in, I want you to now bring your hands down and then coming out, bringing your feet down, and once again walking the feet side to side, just allowing the hips to tilt off a little. That's great. So bringing the weight into the right foot, and once again you can bring your left up against the right. If that's as much as you want to do today, then you just stay here with that. If you want to go a little further, foot on the inside of the knee, or if you want to take it further up, once again you can bring it to the top of the thigh. And again, just to reiterate, my heel, this heel is further forward than my toes are, so my toes are tilting slightly round to the back. And then I'm bringing my hands into prayer position. Find your gaze, find your breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking a nice deep breath in, lifting the arms up and over the head. Keep breathing. Finding that focus. Remember the tripod in the leg, the big toe, the foot, big toe, little toe, and the heel. Finding an equal balance between those 3 points. Focusing, focusing, and on a breath out, lowering the arms down and taking that left leg and bringing it down to the floor. And once again, walking side to side. There you go, that's great. Okay, so I'd like to show you a pumping breath which you may or may not get, and this may be something we need to do more extensively in class, but I'd like to show you it anyway because it's works with the lungs quite a lot. So you know, with the pumping breath with the Kapalabhati, we pump in here, and so you literally don't take an in-breath. The air is drawn back in as you're pumping up through the hand. So there's a similar principle to this, only you're using your arms in a slightly different position, in a slightly different way. So you're standing as well. So we'll see how we go with it. I'll show you the basics, and again we can recap this when we see each other in person. So what you're going to do is, let me show you from the front, is you're going to start off shrugging your shoulders. Now it's really important in this exercise that your arms are really floppy, a bit like elephant trunks. And so allowing them to be really heavy, like pendulums, elephant trunks, whatever visualization that you have, it gives you that sense of these arms being really floppy. There's no weight into them. You're not carrying the muscles. You're not telling the arms what to do. You're literally just swinging from side to side, allowing your shoulders to draw your arms backwards and front. So it's the shoulders that are lead, okay? So I'm going to show you now from the side. So this is really all we're going to do with this, but it's as you begin to evolve into that movement, that's where you begin to notice that you don't need to take the same breath in to allow your lungs to fill. So first of all, we're just doing this lovely shrugging side to side. Remember, it's the shoulders, and can you see what's happening with my arms? They're just floating backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to really begin to extend into that. So I'm going to push my shoulders as far as I can, and the further I push my shoulders forward, it means that my arms are raising up even more, all the way up to shoulder height. And then I'm going to begin to slightly tilt forward. If you close your mouth up at this point, you might begin to feel that the breath is pumping in and out with your arms. Just do this lovely thing with your shoulders, just allowing the arms to shrug side to side. And and then coming back up to standing. So let me show you from the front. The whole key to this exercise, and it brings up again a lot of heat in the body, the whole key to it is to keep the upper body, the upper arms, really floppy and fluid. Really what you're looking at doing is allowing your shoulders to be the guide here. The shoulders are the ones that are leading this exercise. And as they lead the exercise, they're allowing the lungs, so you have the lungs on both sides here, they're allowing the lungs to pump very naturally of their own accord, a bit like the pumping breath. So if you want to keep it the basic, all you're going to do is just shrug and swing side to side. And the arms are just coming around about your waist, around about your hips. If you want to get the arms to raise up from here, don't put any weight into the arms, just literally begin to shrug even more with the arms side to side. The rest of my body is moving, so I'm keeping a softness in the knees, and I'm just allowing my hips to go where they need to go, swaying from side to side. And it's at this point where if you start to bend forward, it really begins to access into your lungs, and you don't need to breathe. You find that the breath is being pumped back in. Up to standing. Take a deep breath. And another one. And another deep breath. Just in time. So here you can meet my lovely cat. And I'm going to stop this series now. So this is a lovely Taz. He's just come in, very cold feet actually. He's probably just been out hunting and has left me something in the kitchen, knowing him. So yes, I'm going to end on this point with these. So what I want you to do is just to go into lying down on your mat and go into Sivasana on your back, just to allow the energy to calm down, or go into the child pose. Oh, he's off. There he goes. Yeah, and I'll post some more soon.